What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into ranking all my Unearthly Cosmetics palettes. So it's been a while since I did this. I think I did it last year, so I decided I need to start ranking some of my palettes at the very beginning of the year, so that way we can see what new things they come out with and see, like, toward the beginning of each new year how I rank things compared to the way I ranked them the year before. So I'm gonna try to do all of them at the beginning of the year, or as many as I can at the beginning of the year from now on. But without further ado, let's get into it, because since it's 25 palettes, girl, it's a lot. Now, a couple of them are going to be grouped together because they came in collections together, but otherwise, they should pretty much just be, you know, individual palettes. So we're going to start off with number 25, which is the lowest one, of course. Y'all should already know which palette this is and why. Like, it showed up with a dry shade when I tried to do the video. So this is the Weirdos palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. Now, I heard Nikki Raven talking about this palette and how she told them that the shade was dry and they were supposed to be sending her a new one. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if they're just sending new ones to people who reach out, because I never reached out about it. But a lot of people were in the comment section of one of her posts talking about this shade and how dry it was and what they were supposed to do about it or whatever. So I don't know if she's just going to start sending out shades to everybody or what exactly is going on with that. But I do know that mine showed up dry, because when I gave y'all the video, if you remember, I was scratching and scraping and doing everything I could just to get it on the lid, because it was one of my favorite shades, but it didn't work out for me. So that's why this palette is at the very bottom, because as soon as I received it, there was something wrong with it. So no good, no good, no good. Okay, so 25, I think that's, yeah. Okay, so 24 is the Unearthly Cosmetics and Capricorn palette. This is just a really crazy and weird color source to me, and I find it hard to come up with eye looks. So that's personally why I put it where I did, just because I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. I feel like with the other collab they did before, after this one, that looks similar to Angie's palette, I can get a better idea of. I think it's called Haunting and Glamorous or something like that. So I feel like that one is easier for me to work with than this one is. I mean, I see a look with like the middle row, because you put this on the outer V and then you use all the lighter shades, I guess. And like this first one, but this last one, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't understand. The color story is just a little too out there and weird for me. To me, this is just more of a companion palette, too, because it has all mattes and then it has sequin shadow. So I'm like, I don't really know what to do with this. I don't do all matte looks, and then the color story is just kind of crazy. So that's why I get to be the 24. So 23 is the original Bunnies palette. I mean, not, sorry, the remastered Bunnies palette. So I like the original one a little bit better, just because it has deeper outer V shades for me. This one is more like you have to put the matte in the crease and then just put the shimmer on the lid and that's it. Or put the matte on the outer V and in the crease and then just have the shimmer on the lid. It doesn't have a lot of dimension to it, but in all fairness, I could just pair this with the original Bunnies palette and make a look, which is usually what I do. I think I did just this palette for the video, and it's not anything wrong with the quality or anything like that. It's just more of, it's more pastel-y, so it's like I still have to bring in something else, so that's why I have to go lower down. But I literally have something else to bring in with it, and that's actually ranked higher than this one, just because I like the fact that it originally started off with deeper mattes. But I understand where she was coming from with the Easter and the pastel with the bunnies and the Easter eggs and all that, so that's why she redid it. But to me, this is just a companion palette to the original Bunnies palette, which is why it is number 23. So number 22 is Leather and Lace. If you all remember, I told you I wasn't in a rush to get this. I ended up catching this on a sale. I didn't buy it when it first launched and do my video the way I normally do with the brand, just because this wasn't an exciting color story to me. I have reached for it more than I expected to, and do I like the looks I get with it? I usually use this as a companion palette as well sometimes too, so that's the reason why it's a little lower down, just because I wasn't excited about it when it first came out. I only bought it because it was on sale to round out my collection, and then I don't really reach for it that often. I use it as a companion palette. So if you're noticing a pattern, like the ones I've used as companion palettes that I don't like to use on their own, or I'm not excited about the color story, you're gonna obviously go toward the bottom, because it's supposed to be ranked upon my usage of the palette, in addition to, like, you know, color stories and other things like that. So that's why this one is number 22. 21 is the Fairy Frolic. Again, I really like this palette. I didn't really have any issues with this palette. My whole thing is like, again, I pair this with another palette. So I like to pair this with the one that's going to be after it. You'll see it in a second. But I feel like they do great together. The metallics and the other one is amazing. The mattes in it are really nice as well. I like some of the mattes in here, though, to go with that palette. And I like the shimmers in the palette I'm going to talk about next more. So that's why it got ranked a little bit lower. But there's nothing wrong with this palette. I have used it on its own and it works just fine. It's just once she came out with that palette, I just always like to pair it with this one, because I feel like it's just a great palette mashup, and it gives me an excuse to use more than one palette, since I have so many palettes to choose from, as we know. So this is number 21. And then Fall Magic is number 20. As you can see the color story on the side of this, now you see why I pair it with the one I just showed you, the Fairy Frolic. Now that is the remastered Fairy Frolic, or like the new formula. She had the older formula because I have the older formula of the Poison Apple palette that you'll see eventually. But back to this one, the Fall Magic. She came out with this during the fall. I ended up grabbing it, I think, during the second launch. I either got mine on the first or the second launch, but like people kept begging her to launch it back out because it was such a great palette. Like the shimmers in here are amazing. The mattes in here blend and work really nicely. I just like a little more variety, which is why I like to put it with the Fairy Frolic. And they do look somewhat similar, so they have some tones that might work for you better. So if you couldn't get your hands on this, you might want to get Fairy Frolic. I don't know if she's bringing that one back or not though, because I heard last time on this on her website that there was only the holiday palettes that had just came out, and that was it. There was nothing else, so I don't know what's going on as far as that goes. I know the mystery, what is it, the mystery bundle just went up for Valentine's Day, and I did order that, but I didn't check to see if anything else was up on the site because I was trying to make sure, you know, I got the bundle or whatever. So I'm not, matter of fact, I think, do I still have that window open? Because if I still have the window open, we can go check and see what's still available, what's not. Sorry, I was watching somebody on YouTube and get my life in order. But yeah, I just bought the what do you call it, the Valentine's Day bundle, and it doesn't look like anything else is up here, but let's see. Eyes, palettes. Okay, so it says there's 14 palettes up here. So the Leather and Lace is sold out. The Fairy Frolic is still up there. Okay, so the Lure is still up there because she was talking about discontinuing that. The Hauntingly Glamorous one is up there, which it comes and goes because I guess she still has a certain amount in stock. It's some empty palettes up here. The Not Normals here. The Sleepover and the Strawberry Milkshake are currently live. Now, this is going up on like December the 29th when she just launched the, what do you call it, palette? The, not palette, but she just launched the Valentine's Day bundle, but I don't think this is going up to like sometime in 2023, so who knows, we'll be on the site then. But you know, I had to go check and see if anything was available because when I looked last time it wasn't. But that's number, I said that was number 20. So number 19 is the original Bunnies palette. Like I said, I just like to use this one more because as you can see it has like nice deeper tones to go with the shimmer. So I like to pick the deeper tones in here, and I like to take the lighter mattes from the other palettes, put in the crease or on the brow bone, and then I can take the shimmers from either palette because I think the only one she kept originally in that palette versus this palette was Golden Eye. Sorry, Golden Egg. So you can take shimmers out of either palette. I can take the shimmers in here for the lid, and then take the lighter shimmers out of the new Bunnies palette for the inner corner, which is usually what I do. I'll just combine both the palettes to like get the look that I'm looking for. So that's why this one got higher, just because it had darker outer V shades for me automatically, and I can mix the colors of these to my liking and just put a shimmer on the lid. So that is number 19. So number 18 is when we start bundling stuff together. It's going to be the so I guess it's 18, 17, 16. I mean, I'm just trying to group all these together, but I do have 27 palettes. So this was the Halloween mystery box, the original, the first mystery box, because like I just said, I ordered the Valentine's Day one. So here is, what is this one? Thirst. This is the Vampire Girl. This is Creepy Crawly. The what do you got? The Spider Girl. And then we have Chilling, which I'm assuming is supposed to be like the Vampire Girl or something. I don't, not vampire, the I guess the Demon Girl or something. I don't know, this is what it looks like, even though I think it's weird to call her Chilling, but this is what she looks like. And this is the purple one. So these were just all in a little collection, and it's the color story she chose. So she chose the reds, the greens, and the purples. I liked the quality of them. They were good. It's just I'm not gonna reach for them that often. I rarely reach for quads, so that's why I got put where they did at number 18. So 17 is the In the Dark palette. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Now I bought the reformulated one, or like the relaunched one. I shouldn't say reformulated. I don't know what the original form is like, but this was put back out again this year. It was her holiday collection from 2021. I know Karen got this one in PR instead of getting the one I got, which was Smells Like Holiday Spirit, but that was the one with the tartan fabric on it, and I just liked that one better. So that was the one I bought. But when she relaunched this one, I think they said a couple of the shades were too similar, so they changed some of the shades in it. So I got the newer one with the newer shades in it. It looks nice. I think it does a good job as far as quality goes. It's just more of I don't reach for these tones of the combination that often. Y'all know I do like the blue and purple, but it's like I have so many blue and purple and blue, green and purple and blue, pink and purple palettes. So it's like I didn't really necessarily need this. So I don't think I rushed out to get this either. I think I bought this one and the leather and lace at the same time when she did the sale, and that's how I ended up with both of them. But the quality is good. The color story is nice. It's just because we know me and I have so many color stories like this, it's like this wasn't really like a necessity for me, so that's why I didn't rush out and get it. And you know, that's why it's falling where it's falling at 17. So 16 is the Not Normal palette. As Betty Jean says, this is the grungy Beetlejuice palette from McGrath Cosmetics, and I totally agree because you got the little neutrals to go on with, but then you still have those greens and those purples to go with, and a couple of more muted pastel shades to dust over or put on your in your crease or put on your brow bone and whatnot. So I really like the color story of this one. I don't reach for this as often as I used to though. Like when I first got it, I used to reach for this a lot, but it's like I'm more on the blue, green, and purple train, and since there's no like greens in here, and their holiday palette that they came out with in 2022 has more of like the blue, greenish, purple vibe. It's just, you know, I'd be more likely to reach for that one than I would for this one, so that's why this one landed where it did at number 15, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's number 15. I done messed myself up now. So the next one we have, number 14, is the Unearthly Cosmetics Dead of Night palette. This is the holiday palette I was talking about. As you can see, this is more of that blue, green, purple vibe I was talking about. So I would be more likely to reach for this one than I would for the one I just showed you, the Not Normal palette, which is why it's higher up. I will say I don't like the fact that there's a couple sequin shades in here. So this one and this one, a couple of deeper shades are sequin shades. So I'd prefer the gray not to have sequins in it, and obviously the blue not to have sequins in it. But since they, you know, run out at the end, it's fine, I guess. I just, you know, would prefer it not to be there. But this color story I love, which is why it's higher up than the Not Normal, because I'll use it more. So there's that. Okay, next we have the Velour palette. Yes, I was saying the Velour palette is the next palette we have to talk about. So here is what it looks like on the inside. I love the color story of this. I think it's so unique and I guess weird, if you will. I wasn't necessarily crazy about the two oranges though, especially because this is a sequin shadow. If y'all haven't noticed, I'm not a fan of sequin shadow, so I'm not necessarily feeling this. But I like this orange, even though I'm not really a huge fan of orange, but I feel like it gives a nice pop to this palette, because I see this as more like a fall Christmassy palette. I don't necessarily see it as a summer palette, but I feel like it's just a really fun and cool color story. Like this, I feel like a couple of shades look too similar. Like these two look too similar, and then these two look too similar. But I'm sure they have different shifts and things, and it's just like my lighting is throwing it off. Because looking at it in the camera, it doesn't look the way it looks in person, which makes it look like they're two samey colors. But they're not. If you saw it in person, or if you have seen it in person, or if you own it, then you know what I'm talking about. Like just on screen, my lighting is just making it look bad. I hate to say, but I love the color story of this. I love this palette. I like to use it pretty often. If you're noticing, the ones that are higher up are the ones I reach for more often in my collection out of the other ones. So basically after like from the Dead of Night on, those are the ones I reach for the most, which is why they're closest to the top. But I love this little palette, and I hope she actually doesn't discontinue it. If she does, I'm sure she'll bring back something that's even awesome than, you know, I expected. But I just don't want her to like let it go. Let a few more people grab a girl before you just, you know, get rid of it. Okay, so the next one I have is the Smells Like Holiday Spirit. So this is the one I told y'all I bought first instead of the In the Night palette. I'm sorry, In the Dark palette. I believe that's what it's called, In the Dark. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called In the Dark, but this is what it looks like on the inside. I like about this one is like the pans are can be popped out and moved around, because I think it'd be fun to rearrange some of her color stories. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but it's like I just like the option to do that, because y'all know I do it with ColourPop, I do it with Natasha, I do it with Melton. I think it'd be fun to do it with this brand too. So I hope she comes up with some more palettes so I can pop the colors out and move them around and kind of make my own unique spin on stuff. But I don't plan on changing anything to this, and I was really glad I got my hands on it. It ended up going on a major sale later on, so if you wanted it, I hope you got your hands on it, because I really think this color story is just so unique and fun and not expected at all. And that's what I like about her brand. I feel like she gives a lot of unique and fun color stories that other brands don't, so I just had to get my hands on it. And I've used it quite a few times, even though like even when it's not Christmas time. I just think it's a really cool and unique color story that I like to use quite a lot, so that's why it's high as it goes. Like I told y'all, from the rest on or palettes I like to reach for pretty frequently. So next is the Poison Apple. This is what I was telling you all about. She did the packaging and the formula, I believe, on the eyeshadow. So This is what the original looks like. She had the circle pants. She went to the square pants. I'm, you know, here for the color story just in general. I feel like this is a good alternative to the, what is that palette? The Merry Christmas palette from Oden's Eye as far as the color story goes. Now, I'm not saying the formula is, so don't come with that foolishness. Don't come and saying I said that. I did not. I said the color story of this is really similar for all the people who didn't get it. And since, the only thing is I think this is discontinued. So if you already have this palette and you didn't get the Merry Christmas palette, you don't have to feel bad about it because this color story is really similar. Hopefully you can find somebody on Mercari selling this at a reasonable price because people being outrageous on Mercari trying to sell this palette. Honey, I keep being sabotaged by this camera because it's like the car got full and now the battery's flashing. Honey, everybody out here trying to sabotage me. I already had to drive an hour to get here because somebody got into a car accident right at the exit where I get on at work to go home. So I had to drive all the way like 16 miles just on the side streets in order to get here. So it was just a whole thing, girl. But anyway, back to this color story because you don't care about that. I got here and the video is being made, but I really love this color story, and I think this is a year round one just like the Merry Christmas one, so I'm glad to have it in my collection. Now let me go get a battery and then we can talk about the last, I think it's 7 or 8 palettes here, girl, because I just got so much in Unearthly thing. I'll be right back. Let me get the battery. Okay, so on to the Strawberry Milkshake palette. I know y'all remember this one because I gave y'all a whole video on why you didn't need the Glam Light X Strawberry Shortcake palette, because this palette exists. So this one retails for $35. I forgot how much the one on Glam Light retails for. I have a video comparing this to the other one. I have a video comparing the Lord palettes to some other palettes. I have a video comparing a lot of her palettes to other palettes. So if you're interested in the brand, you can see how they work against other palettes, other color stories. Or if you just want to watch the video in general, I think I have a playlist just for this brand. It should say Alien/Unearthly Cosmetics, so you can watch that. But back to this palette. I love this palette. This one and the Poison Apple I just showed you are the first 2 palettes I ever bought from this brand, because I saw the color stories on Angie's new makeup releases, and I was like, yes, I need that. What is that? I need it. And I proceeded to buy this one and that one, and I have not. Okay, y'all, so. But yeah, this is a gorgeous color story. The card keeps getting full, I'm sorry. The gorgeous color story and just a wonderful, wonderful palette that I will forever cherish, just because it's like one of my first 2 Alien palettes, and I live for this color story. So I'm so glad I got my hands on it, and I have not turned back from the brand since. So this will be a cherished one of my collection for quite a while. Okay, y'all, we down to the top 5, top 7. We're down to close to the end of the top 10. So next we have the All I Ever Wanted Volume 1. According to a girl, Dr. Ash, and her makeup, the community asked the owner, Amanda of Unearthly Cosmetics, to bring this back. And then she did. And then she did even better and brought us a part 2. You'll see that a little bit later. But I love this palette. I think this is a great value if you're someone who likes multi-chromes, dual chromes, and shimmers, and you don't want to have to buy a whole bunch of singles. Because that's what I hated about me liking unique shifting shades before people start putting them in palettes. Like, you had to go and buy singles. So the fact that she put it all in the palette is cohesive and easy for you to purchase is just amazing to me, especially for the price, because these type of shadows are expensive. I know a lot of people were saying that they thought the palette was priced too high and all that, but I think she's moderately priced it, considering, because you gotta think she has a huge palette like this, and Danessa Myricks is charging you how much? But ain't nobody complain about them $125. But you complain about her charging, I think this is $85 palette. You complain about her charging $85 for this, but Danessa Myricks can charge you $125. That's fine. Like, let's reevaluate. Let's get life more there. Cause yeah, no. But yeah, I love this palette. I just like the other one a little bit more, obviously, because you still haven't seen it yet. But this one is great. It just depends on what shifts and colors and tones you want in the palette, which one I feel like you should get. My personal one is, I like the Danessa Myricks Lightworks volume, I think it's volume 4 or volume 5 palette. So that's why I prefer the other All I Ever Wanted volume 2 palette, because it's a great dupe for that palette, and then you don't get those horrible like crusty shades in the middle everybody's mad about, doesn't like, and was complaining and putting in their worst makeup for 2022 video. So yeah. But next we have the Unearthly. I don't know why I keep saying Unearthly like I didn't tell y'all that's what this video was for. But this is the Sleepover palette. So the Sleepover palette is like my version of a neutral, appropriate, everyday eye look, because these are the type of tones I look at and I think of when I think of neutrals, which is why Huda Beauty and I are here. Because you know how many mauve palettes that woman came out with in a full size and sold it to y'all, and y'all just accepted it, mauves and berries. I'm here for that. So you know, when Mother was having a rose era, I was okay with it somewhat, but I feel like she overdid it. I feel like Huda stepped back, calmed down, brought some browns and stuff in that other people liked, and then you know she's where she is now. But you know, mother was a little overdoing it, and I'm like, I need her to calm down a little bit. But this one right here to me is perfect. The only thing I don't like, again, with the sequin shades, I don't like sequin shades, so I don't like that shade. But literally everything else in this palette is wonderful. Like when I'm doing a mauve look, even with other palettes, I always try to reach for this shade or this shade, because I just think they're so unique and fun shades that I feel like you don't see in a lot of neutrally mauve-ish type palettes. And that's what I can appreciate about this one, because I'm telling y'all, when I go to use a neutral look, a lot of times I have to reach into this one just because it has such unique fun shades. I like this pink here too, so I reach into this one quite a bit when it comes to doing the neutral looks, if you will. Then next I have the what is it, Witching Hour palette alongside the sorry, not the witch, alongside something. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about another video I need to do. But I have the Witching Hour. I really like this palette. I like this Witching Hour better than the ColourPop Witching Hour palette. So that's why I'm so obsessed and love this palette. The color story of it is just stunning. I got my pinks and purples. I got some greens. The only thing that's missing in here is a blue, but it's like obviously you need the orange because it's supposed to be a Halloween palette. I believe this was her Halloween launch for 2020. Don't quote me. It might have been 20. Yeah, it had to be. No, it might have been 2021. But I think it's simply stunning. And I feel like either way that you look at the palette, you can always find a look. Because I feel like if you go across this way, that's a look. If you go straight down the middle, it's this way. And of course, when you go down that way, it's a look. So I feel like the way she curated and set up this palette always gives really nice looks with whatever eye look you do. If you want to do all matte look, you can. If, like I said, if you want to go across this way, I think that would be a really cool look. It's just a gorgeous, stunning palette with a wonderful color story. I know some people said, I think they said that shimmers were hard pressing here, or that this was patchy. I didn't have those issues, but you know, like, I'm never gonna say that someone else didn't have them, because it's like, I'm not you, not me. That's not the experience I had, and I'm sorry it's the experience you had, because I really like that palette. So now we got the rest of the Halloween collection. So this ranks so much higher. First of all, because the shades all works fine, and I like the and sad part is I like the color story and the concept of the weirdos the best, but it's like I found myself liking So Strange a little bit more than this one, but I just put them both at the top because both of them have great quality, and I actually got great looks with both of them. Now I haven't reached for 1964 as much as I've reached for So Strange, but I mean, like, when you see the inside you'll know why, knowing me. So yeah, you got this great pink green combination, or you got this sunset eye down here, or you can just mix all the colors together like we know I'm going to do. But you know, I like the fact that she gave you options on the way you can do it. I love all the shifting shades in here, especially this one right here, because it totally surprised me. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be at all, and it was really cool. So I really like this one. I was surprised by liking this one as much as I did, but when you look at it, it's just like a pinkish purple grayish type neutral moment here, and then you have the fun blues and greens right here. So when you look at it that way, just look at these as quads, and I feel like it's going to be easy to make an eye look. See, there's a quad right there, and there's a quad right there. But I really like both of these palettes. And the quality on them is actually really nice. So that's how they got ranked as high as they did at number 4. So the top 3, I feel like nobody should be surprised knowing me and what I like in a palette. So number 3 is the Hauntingly Glamorous. This is the other collab I told you about from Unearthly that I own. They have one more out right now, but I don't own that one. But this one, the one I just told you about, Hauntingly Glamorous on the thing, this is a good alternative in my personal opinion for Angie's palette. I feel like the color stories are pretty similar. Not exact. I said similar, so you ain't gotta come for me in the comment section with that. I said similar, not exact. As we all know, Angie's has more of that peachy reddish tone. I feel like she doesn't have those peachy tones, but she does have the reds. She has the greens and the blues, and then the purple. So they have that somewhat similar color story in common. If you couldn't get Angie's palette, I feel like this is a good alternative for you to get. And it's a gorgeous palette. I actually use this a lot when I'm here at my grandma's house when I don't have Angie's palette. So that's why I'm saying I feel like it's a good alternative, because I make some of the similar looks I make with Angie's. Now Angie's shimmers are more foily and sparkly, but these have really nice iridescent shimmers in it, which I think pair nicely with a good majority of the shades that she chose on her palette. So I really like this palette. Number 2 is the other palette I just told y'all about from the All I Ever Wanted Volume 2. This is a really great dupe for the Danessa Myricks one. I gave y'all a whole video on it comparing it. If you're interested in seeing it, I'll try to remember to link it up above. I honestly just try to link the playlist at the end of this video, so then that way you can get a look at it, or I might just link it in the cards up here. I don't know where it's going to be linked, girl. It'll be linked though. But this is what it looks like. I love the shimmers and the just the whole tone and color of this palette just a little bit more than the original one. So I mean, like, she outdid herself on this one, because I'm so in love with it. I'm so happy to have it in my collection, and I'm so glad she has a bundle set up for the people who didn't get the first one, who really wanted it after she did a couple more relaunches before she took it out and then brought it back with the new one. So make sure you go and grab it. And oh, I forgot to say whose code you're supposed to use. So say it with me now, everybody say it with me. We use what? You can use code KH Makeup, or you can use code FrizzFace, because y'all know my girl Beauty and the Frizz, Akira here on YouTube. She has a code with Unearthly Cosmetics as well. So you can use my girl Karen's code KH Makeup, or you can use my girl Kara's code Beauty and the Frizz, which is FrizzFace, and get the discount. So number one, I feel like nobody should be surprised, although I was a little harsh on this when I did do my review, but I have learned to make it work for me because I really love the color story of this one, and this is like my all-time most used Unearthly Cosmetics palette. This is the Vitality palette. So I was sad when I just looked on her website and it's not there, because this is my favorite. This is number one. As you can see, I love this palette. So where is it, Amanda? Where is it? Where are you hiding it? And when is it coming back? Because people need this palette in their life. To me, this is a fun, unique, rainbow-esque color story, because I feel like you get a like little sunset moment here with these colors. You can do a romantic look, you can do your like classic green grungy look with this row, or you can do a more fun minty greenish yellow look with this row. And then you got your blues and purples, which we know are my favorite color story. So the blue, green, and purple section is the section that I love the most, but I actually do use this section quite a bit as well, which I was shocked about because I didn't expect to use it that much, girl, but I do. So imagine that. So this is my number one Unearthly Cosmetics palette, and my most used one in my collection, and my one of my all-time favorite ones. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are dimes. You can comment down below and tell me if you like my ranking and what you thought of these palettes. Do you own any of these palettes? Are you a Unearthly Cosmetics fanatic like me and own a whole bunch of these palettes? Or are you just trying to dip into the brand and find out what I think about it? But like I said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are dimes, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.